The Indiana Fever were back at Gainbridge Fieldhouse Wednesday night, facing the Washington Mystics for the second time in a couple of weeks. First time we saw them here, and it was a wire-to-wire Indiana Fever win. The final tonight, 88-81 over the Mystics, a team that got off to the slowest start in the league, but they had won their last two games. They've been dealing with health issues. But in this one, while the Fever never led by more than 11 points, they also never trailed. Yet another thing for this young team to check off and experience for the first time together. The Fever shot 51% in the win. They won the glass, the rebounding, the points in the paint. And another positive is they only turned it over 11 times. That's been something we've been tracking all throughout the start of this season for this team. Now, here at the Fieldhouse, they were finishing off a 3-game homestand, and despite it being a Wednesday, it was another sellout crowd. What more would you expect? And for one individual, that being Mel Raines, the brand new president of Pacer Sports and Entertainment, this was day one for her on the job after Rick Fuson retiring yesterday officially in his role after 40 years. Now he'll stay on as an advisor to owner Herb Simon, but a special night in all for Fever fans, for the team, and for many others.
Fans have been showing up, the sellout crowds, just to be able to put, a product out on the floor that they're proud of. I mean, we can't thank them enough for coming out. The fans have been incredible.
We are continuing to see the advantage of finally having some time between games. It's not game practice, game travel, all that sort of thing at best. They've had 2 days between each of these games, leading to more practice time, more shooting time, more film breakdown, rest for their bodies, and also opportunities to build on their team chemistry on and off the court. And in this one, it really took a balanced attack for the Fever to come away with the win. They leaned on the starters entirely almost in this one. 77 of their 88 points in tonight's win. Aliyah Boston, 22 points, 8 rebounds. She's been a breath of fresh air here as of late, really catching fire and producing. She didn't do that in the first couple weeks of the season. Her confidence was down. She was hearing a lot of outside noise, got off of social media intentionally, and now is starting to find her groove both on the court, and we're even seeing it post-game and how expressive again she is. Remember, she did all the broadcasting with ESPN and putting that to good use, and we're seeing that a lot more in post-game and interviews. She was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. She dyed her hair all black, so a new look for her as well. We saw Kelsey Mitchell finished with 22 points. Alyssa Smith adding 11 points, 7 rebounds tonight in the Indiana Fever win. But more than anything, the chemistry and experience, that's something Kelsey Mitchell says this Fever team can lean on at the moment.
We have a relatively young group, and you need experience in this league to kind of figure out where your team is. And I think we've already kind of seen our low and what it looks like, and I think it kind of just took us up a couple notches, which is a great thing. And then individually and personnel-wise, you got to know your team. You got to know the people you're playing with. You got to know what spots they like. You got to know how you got to pass it. You got to know where they're most comfortable, where they're uncomfortable. Like, all that stuff matters, and I think we are starting to master how to play with each other, and I think that once we kind of seal the deal with that one, it'll be hard for people to stop us, because I think we got all fire on cylinders together. I think everybody can eat. So.
And speaking of chemistry, the growing chemistry between Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston is something that everybody likes to see at the moment right now. Both are productive on both ends of the floor. They're getting on the wavelength even more. There was a point after the game where Caitlin was asked about some of her turnovers, mentioned how one, she didn't even look where Aliyah was, just assumed exactly where she would be, because that's the confidence that they have in each other at this moment. And Boston is knocking down three-pointers. Caitlin's having success inside and out, both moving with the ball and also on the dribble, getting to her shots. And as I said, a special moment earlier this week as Aliyah Boston was named Player of the Week in the conference. It was notable too because we saw Christy Shides at practice in an Aliyah Boston t-shirt. The news hadn't gotten out yet, so she couldn't quite reveal it, but the confidence is growing for this team, and in particular with Aliyah Boston.
Yeah, it was nice. I'm really glad. I'm glad my teammates have just continued to put me in those positions. Thank God that I was able to be awarded that, but it's special for me.
And Kelsey, as a team, what are you most proud of about what's clicking, about what's rolling right now for this group?
I would say that our attitude on like keeping what don't matter out. I would say I'm most proud of our group for that. I think right now we're keeping the basketball, we're keeping the main thing, and that's the X's and O's in our group. I don't think that we focus on what the world could be saying, and I think that's the best part for us right now. So I think that's our biggest growth and our biggest jump as a group, coaches included.
Now, Caitlin finished with 18 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. Yes, 12 rebounds. That's for another double-double. And she talked about her rebounding effort post-game. It's something that she's done from time to time, and she really likes just grabbing the ball off the rim and running and gunning. That's where she thinks they can be among their most productive and successful. When the ball's in her hands and moving it down the floor, everyone's running. You can see the conditioning level from everyone on this team has improved as they've played together and playing at that pace for several weeks now. And the other nice thing, quite frankly, is the conversations have been strictly about basketball, about their efforts on the court, their success on the floor. Winning cures all, and also it's been great to just focus on what they're out here to do.
I got off to a fast start there in the first quarter. Sometimes the ball just bounces your way a little bit more, and a lot of the times the people I'm guarding are getting back in defense, so I have a little more free reign of like going and chasing down the ball while our bigs are probably boxing out and hitting a little bit more. So, credit to them.
We sure are. Hitting a lot more.
Sorry, my bad. But no, I mean, I think we're really good when I can get it off the rim and push in transition. So I take a lot of pride in trying to chase it down off the rim and then really go. And I think that led to a lot of easy baskets for Aliyah at the beginning of the game, or just all of us in transition. I think it's a really good thing. But yeah, 12 is, don't get used to it. That's for sure.
Yeah, great note there about rebounding and providing a great reaction as well. So the Fever, after their 1-8 start, they've absolutely started to find their groove, found some success, having more fun out there. That's something that the players have been emphasizing a couple weeks ago, coming off that tumultuous stretch with 11 games in 20 days. Christy Sides added some perspective as well. The fact that playoffs, they were just 2 games out. There's a long way to go in this season. They've won 5 of 7, including 4 of 5, and perspective is something head coach Christy Sides has appreciated.
It was a challenge for them, just to show up every day, not having success, going 1-8. Just that's really hard to do, to keep coming back and just beg, asking them to just stick with it. Or, let's just keep getting better, keep improving. And to me, that is what I am the most proud of, is they kept showing up, and we just keep improving in certain areas that we're focused on, that we're emphasizing.
I think everybody just loves instant satisfaction in our world. No one came in here and said we were going to be WNBA champions from day one in our locker room. That was never our goal. Our goal is to get back to the playoffs, and we're fighting for that every single night. This is the first time we've won 4 home games in a row since 2015. You have to have perspective on things, and that goes for life too. Have perspective on life, and there just needs to be solid perspective on what this team can accomplish, and I think everybody in our locker room had that.
The Indiana Fever had a special opportunity the night before this game, back on Tuesday, as they spent time together just 5 blocks away at Lucas Oil Stadium. USA Swimming team trials ahead of the Paris Olympics, qualifying for that here. And so not only are there 20-some thousand fans over there tonight, almost 20,000 fans, just over 17,000 fans here tonight at the Fieldhouse, but that was an opportunity for the players to spend part of their evening together on the pool deck. They enjoyed some of the festivities up in a suite, but not in the entire thing. They had to get home and get rest ahead of tonight's game against the Washington Mystics. And again, we're starting to see that chemistry pay off. So much has been wanted to be made about this team and their lack of success early on, but you have to have perspective, and nobody provided better than Caitlin Clark postgame.
Proud of us. I felt like we took it one game at a time. We never looked too far ahead, and I think that's the same thing with this next stretch of five straight road games. You just got to go one game at a time, and the next 2 are versus teams that we played in the last week. So they're certainly going to want some revenge, but also, I feel like the confidence that we've been able to build from the last 3 games is, continue to take a step forward and learn each game. And if we do happen to lose one, how are we going to respond? I think that's been a big thing for us too. The last game we lost, we found a way to respond and string off 3 straight wins. So I think we've gotten a lot better over the course of these last 3 games, and it's just continuing to build on that.
You can hear the noise around me as they're cleaning up here at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and for good reason, in large part because this team doesn't play here for the next several weeks. They're gone. 5 straight on the road, a couple games, Chicago, Atlanta, then they head out west for a road trip right there, and aren't right back here at the Fieldhouse until July 6th. So they're piling up wins. They're doing so in close fashions, but that's experience that they can hopefully lean on. You'd like to see them win a little bit more comfortably, but again, never trailed in this one, kept their turnovers down, did not allow for any of the runs that we saw the Mystics have, like at the beginning of the fourth quarter, disrupt what they were trying to do. And I thought Kelsey Mitchell said it best post-game in terms of where they're headed and what they want to get accomplished on this road trip.
I do think this energy is important going on this stretch because down the stretch of these games, it's going to get mucky, it's going to get ugly. And I think if we can handle adversity and, or, you know, be a part of or deal with any crowd that comes our way, I think down the stretch of games when it gets really competitive and gritty, we come out with the win still. So I think it'll be a learning experience, but I think we can feel it.
And by the way, during this one, the Mystics announced that their next game against the Fever, their meeting all the way in September, has already now been moved to Capital One Arena. That's Caitlinomics, the Caitlin Clark effect. They had the highest attendance of any regular season WNBA game since 2007, almost 21,000 fans in that one a couple weeks ago, so no reason to think that won't be duplicated coming up at Capital One Arena in September. Another Indiana Fever victory, their fourth straight at home, something that has not been done since 2015. And Caitlin Clark joking after the game, she was in 8th grade. Reporting from Gainbridge Fieldhouse, I'm Scott Agness of FieldhouseFiles.com.